What is going on, everybody? Today we're talking about episode 9 of probably the series finale of Star Trek Con. My name is Will, and this is the other host,
Caleb.
and we are going to get right into the material.
Goodbye, 1966. Yes, the times are changing with new stories and sweet kicks, and Mr. Warfare dancing. Red alert, set phasers to fun. Incoming message, the podcast has begun. From Pike to Freeman in the mix, let's get our Star Trek fix. Paying homage to the classics. It's new Trek Who Dis. Who Dis? It's new Trek Who Dis. Who Dis? It's new Trek Who Dis. Who Dis? It's new Trek Who Dis. Who Dis?
So, what a treat for all of us. I found synopsises. So, the synopsis for episode 9, entitled Eternity's Face, is Dissent among Khan's followers threatens Venture's launch. Khan faces one last threat to his rule and a final decision that seals his fate. So, Caleb, what would you rate this episode out of 5 deltas?
I'm gonna actually give this one a 4.
Yeah, that's pretty funny that you say that because that's what I was gonna rate it to, a 4.
Yeah, I've been giving them a 5 every week,
Yeah,
but this one was a 4 for me. I like it pretty good. There's just a couple things about it that we'll talk about.
yeah, I agree. I think in general, I think for the whole season series, I think we're pretty close to 5 as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, and we'll talk about it. But what would be your non-spoiler hot take?
The ship launches. So that's cool. Where's Sulu? There's another hot take. And then also, why?
Why Sulu?
Why? No, just why. That's my last hot take without spoilers.
Yeah, you and I probably have the same why too. Yeah, I think my hot take is still interested in rewatching Wrath of Khan to see if I can enjoy Ricardo Montalban's performance as Khan more so with all of this like added layer of what his character has become now.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not sure what to think about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we won't keep you folks in suspense, so we'll get right into spoilers.
Recommend we go to Red Alert.
Red alert!
So it opens up I thought Naveen Andrews' voice when it opens up was kind of like the more deranged Khan voice. Like it kind of sounded more like the Wrath of Khan voice when it very first opened up. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then it cuts back to Ivan coming into whatever facility where Ursula is. You know, he just basically is like, ah, of course I survived. And then,
Yeah. I've been eating city worms.
yeah.
Delicious.
And she's like, you're ingesting the toxin by doing that. And he's just like, it's kind of like vodka, but not so good.
Yeah.
Okay. It was just like,
Big deal.
Yeah.
The planet's exploding. Right.
Then he wants Ursula to join him in killing Khan. She's like, well, I don't outright hate Khan, but she kind of, at this point, you know, for the viewer, makes it seem like she's at least open to the idea to betray Khan.
Yeah.
And then also you learn immediately after this part of the conversation that, like,
Yeah.
Paolo's dead.
Paolo's dead. Yeah, I killed him.
It was just like, okay. Like, I didn't
Yeah,
knock
it's very,
him out.
very, very sudden and abrupt. Yeah. Who was with him too? Somebody was there talking too, and I didn't understand if like
I gotta tell you, I know what you're talking about, that part where like another voice talks.
yeah.
I don't know if that was another guy with him or he was hearing that in like his head because of the toxins. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah. I
Because
almost
like
yeah.
Ursula doesn't comment on that person. Like that voice, basically. Like she doesn't say anything to the voice. Pull it up and see if I can re-listen to it. He says Hassan. Who Hassan is, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like he says to take back what is ours, or he says to take back what is mine, because she tells him like, "Hey, you're getting toxin in your body." He's like, he makes the vodka joke, and then she
Uh-huh.
says, "Why are you back?" And he says, "To take back what is mine." And the voice says, "What is ours?" And he goes, "Yes, Hassan, ours." And then that's it.
No idea. Yeah.
So it's like he must be a guy that like he on his way to Ursula's like hut building thing, like gets this guy to join him essentially. I would assume. I mean, I don't know.
Pretty sure we've heard that name before, but I don't. I confuse Palo and the other guy too because like
Oh,
I thought one of
Yohim.
yeah. So Hayokim is like the chosen one.
He is,
Khan's
yeah.
like first, yeah.
He's the son of the of his first who died from the crazy pig attack.
And Paleo is just the like scientist guy.
Yeah, he's the guy who was constantly like scanning and was like,
Okay.
something's not right with SETI Alpha 6, and he's that guy. Where he was the guy supposed to be on the Venture because of his like science abilities and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Weird.
it's weird. Yeah, it was weird because also you just come back and it's just like, well, that character's dead. And it was just like, oh, okay.
It makes you appreciate the like stereotypical like bad guy voices because like at least then I can like tell who's who.
True, true. Yeah, so then after that exchange where we're at least generally led to believe that Ursula is gonna help Ivan take back the people and everything, we go to like Madhu is giving Kali Marla's like history tapes so that she can listen to them.
Yeah.
And so Kali is listening to them and there's a duel of that kind of stuff where we just hear like Marla talking. And then we get this like interesting moment in the thing. I rewound it like 4 or 5 times to like understand it. So basically at this point in the story, Khan believes that Kirk was in fear of the augments and didn't want to put them in a prison because he knew that they would just be able to break out and that no prison could hold them. So he deposited them on this planet out of fear, and therefore, like, Kirk is responsible for their plight on the planet. And it's like,
Yeah.
I get it to a degree. I do get it. But the thing I thought was kind of like weird that they didn't really write to and they didn't really like help this is like why didn't Marla's like love for him, like for Khan, weaken his suspicions of Starfleet? It's like she's a Starfleet officer and she always is like putting Starfleet mentality in his mind and
Yeah.
like talking positively about these things and also Kirk, and yet he doesn't really like change his position on how he feels about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
Yeah, and I just like at the end of the day, there's another part two, which I again replayed like 10 times later,
Yeah.
but I just was like, okay, like I kind of understand it, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel, I don't know, it just didn't feel overwhelming,
No, and the issue is because that's
like hard written. Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Yeah, like you have to. There's a few things that
Yeah.
you can't do and you must do. Yeah.
There's people like us that would listen to this and be like, "Wow, it's really cool how like Khan really was positive."
Mm,
And then you watch the movie and it's like, "Well, clearly he's been on this planet forever and he's like deranged now."
right, right,
I can separate that, you know, but it's
right.
like you have to write this middle show in a way to show you like, well, he's still upset with Kirk.
Right, right. Like that's
That's
no.
why he stops at nothing to kill Kirk in the movie. You're like, okay, yes, but why? Well, he's sad. He's sad, and he's mad at Kirk. Like, okay, cool, got
Yeah,
it. That's kind of my biggest letdown, honestly, of the finale and of this whole show is that like
yeah,
you spent all this time building up Khan to be a person with emotion and actually like a human being, and then it ends with him being like, "Well, everything just sucks, and if I ever see Kirk again, I'll kill him because this is his fault." And it's like, but it's not. It's not though.
this is
You've just done 8 episodes telling me why it's not Kirk's fault. It's like
right.
I get that Khan's crazy. Like, that's fine.
So jumping ahead, we can talk about like what you're saying. So after a lot of stuff happens, we cut to another log, like a much later log by Khan. And
Yeah.
he says that by way of like Joachim's prodding, basically because of his assumed death of his daughter, and obviously like Marla, he just like wanders the wasteland and just is like waiting to die and just like
Yeah.
gives up on life. And Joachim like keeps bringing him back to center and being like, well, you can still be the leader of our people. You can still think about the family we have here, the survivors we have here. And so Joachim keeps bringing him back to center instead of just him being, I guess like suicidal. And when he essentially is faced with the amount of time that is passing, what he sees is like not hope anymore. He just sees like everything eventually just gets destroyed. Like everything, no matter what it is, no matter how pure, good, wholesome it is, eventually time or something will like consume it. He says that's why he's like fire is the true eternity because it eventually will consume everything. And because of that thought, he thinks differently. Like his mindset changes from like hopeful outlook that, what who knows what the future holds to the future only holds pain and destruction. And so therefore I will prepare myself for that and for anything to come. And then the main thing that I feel is like the main issue that I hope to find. Basically, he wants to return retribution to those who left him here on the planet, especially Kirk, because he set his mind to the fact that killing Kirk will bring justice for all of the things that have destroyed the good in his life.
Yeah.
And
But yeah, I know. Yeah.
it's like I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Uh-huh.
It's a thing where
This because that's all he's got.
right. And all he's left with, because he does talk about also killing people, the people of Earth too, right?
Hmm.
He also wants to kill the people at Starfleet, essentially. But to me, the only thing that like I was thinking about because they bring it up, and I thought maybe this is what they're trying to speak to, but at the same time, I really don't know. I thought maybe they were trying to imply by saying that Ivan was eating the eels that that's what like they all were doing now because it's like well the only food that's easy to
Mm.
eat is the eels in the water. That's like you can get that if you know how to survive. Like that's what Ivan says. He's like if you know how to survive you can always have those two things. You can always eat and drink. And I was thinking, is that what's happening to Khan now? Like, is his brain he's getting brain damaged from all of that,
Yeah.
and it kind of shows like that's what happened to Ivan too. Is like even when Ivan Khan, later in their fight, like presents to him like I'm not weak, but I'm also not going to kill you because like what's the point? Like just stop. Like you just yield because it's like we're not
Yeah.
leaving the planet. We don't need to kill each other. Like for what reason? But Ivan is like too deranged. He's like too it doesn't matter. He's like out of his mind. And I think that might be what they were suggesting with Khan later
Hmm.
in the gap of him wandering the desert. Like that's what he's doing. And so therefore he just becomes deranged. Like he can't reason just like Ivan couldn't reason.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's what I mean. Like by the
No.
time the movie happens, it's like, yeah, they're clearly just out of their minds from being on this horrible planet, you know? I totally get that.
Yeah, they just don't explicitly say that, so you're just left like guessing, which isn't
Yeah.
great, which was a big disappointment.
Yeah,
And
because that's the
two,
whole point of the show to explain to you like why
right.
and
And
to leave like a pretty
two,
big thing up in the air.
yes, yes. Well, let's go. I'm gonna go back. So Ivan confronts Khan. He begins an uprising. They all start chanting Ivan, which I thought was
Ivan,
fun.
Ivan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
No. Khan makes sure that Kali, Madhu, Joachim, and Komora, I think is what the other alien's name was, stay alive in the ship. That he says that you can't open the ship from the outside, it's only open from the inside. Ivan's upset because he knows that Khan he was permanently leaving the planet. He wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
So they all start attacking, and then Ursula basically pulls the phaser out and stuns. We learn that she stuns Ivan. She doesn't know that she did that. She doesn't know if she killed him or stunned him.
Right.
He goes down, and then she tells him to go to the thing, and she's like, she says like they basically had this moment where she knows he's not coming back, and he's like, yeah. He gets into the ship. He takes Joachim's spot. He leaves to go lead the rest of the augments on the planet with really no hesitation. And then Kali is playing a recording of Marla, and she just I don't know if I don't know if she was talking. I don't think she was talking about Khan, but she starts talking about some leader basically like abandoning his people. So that recording changes his heart, and he tells Delmonte to take his place, and he leaves Kali in the cap, like in the venture, and he leaves. And then he tells
Yeah.
everybody to get away from it, and then we get another shout of Khan by Ivan, which I thought was funny.
did.
And then Khan and Ivan fight. Obviously, he tries to get him to yield like several times, and he doesn't. So Khan kills him with the blade that Erica
Yeah.
reforged. Yeah. And then the ship launches, and we learn that the Alborians sacrificed all of themselves to protect the ship. And then during that time, Erica sees faults. Well, she sees basically what we learn is the fuel pod breaks off and burns up in the planet, and she
Yeah.
assumes it's the full capsule or whatever, the full like ship. And so she's telling Ursula this. So Ursula's upset because Madhu was on there. And then Khan comes in because they can't get, they're not able to contact them. And then Khan comes in and basically also puts it together, and he thinks Kali is dead. And I get it, but this is to me,
Yeah.
this from him from him smashing the communication thing to pretty much the ending. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, so this is what we're supposed to
Yeah.
take away from. And that's where it got knocked
Well,
down to a 4.
it's the neat little Star Trek bow.
Yeah, it was like what we're basically led
I'm
to.
afraid in your anger, you've destroyed the communicator. It's so, yeah, it is pretty, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. But like we've said many a times, and also we said during our reviews of this series, that like you wrote it this way. Like
Yeah, you did this.
you wrote the story to be this direction, and you knew how it had to end. And to me, it just felt like they did the reverse. They did like elementary storytelling, which was like they started at the beginning and then wrote the story to the end, where most
Yeah.
traditional authors start at the end and then write backwards. It's like, this is how I want it to end. So how do I get this to this? And then how do I get this to this? And then like you write the other direction, because the ending almost always is way more important than how it opens. Like
Mm-hmm.
opening is just establishing the plot
Yeah.
so that the ending is fulfilling.
I mean, obviously, the opening is, wow, this planet is great. This is going to be a
Right.
great house. And then the ending is, oh, everything's horrible and I want to kill Kirk.
Right.
Even more now. Like, okay.
Right.
Uh,
And it was kind of a letdown that basically what we're supposed to take away is Khan breaks the communication thing.
yeah, right before
And-
they actually were able to radio in.
Right. And it's like, I'm okay with that because he's heartbroken, and like, of course, okay, that's not like a stretch. He's an angry person. I get that. But the thing that, like, I don't know, the thing that just makes me, and I think maybe what we're supposed to take away from it is like Paulo is dead. So it's like you don't have a science guy ever rebuilding the communications thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like he is
Mhm.
dead because Ivan killed him for whatever reason. Perhaps just because he's loyal.
So
to
he
him.
couldn't rebuild the science stuff.
Right. And
Aren't
it's
they
like,
aren't like augments all supposed to be like hyper smart and
Yeah.
know how to do all this stuff anyway?
they're all super strong and they're all smart, but I think like anything in Star Trek or just people in general, like they all each have skills. They all have like skills that they educated themselves on.
They have different departments still, yeah.
Right, right. But it just was like, okay, so they don't ever rebuild. Then you learn from Lear, which we learn is Lear is Kali. Dr. Lear in the future is Kali.
Yeah.
We learned that basically they also tried to communicate, didn't get anything, and they assumed everybody on the planet died from the launch sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay. And then based off of Erica's description, everybody on the planet believed that everybody on
Yeah.
the Venture died. And
Yeah,
it's
right.
it's one of
It's
these
stupid.
Yeah, it's one
It's
of
so
these
stupid.
things of
Like,
nobody cared to like
no. Well,
figure that out.
we had to stay hidden, because we were augments and like now, so it's like okay, so now like late in her life, she's like Kirk fought Khan, so
Right,
like now I have to go figure out what happened to my dad. It's
right.
like, why didn't you send a rescue mission? Like, why didn't anybody send a
Well,
rescue mission
that's the thing is
before? And you're like, well, we thought everybody was dead from when the ship. It's like,
right.
okay, that's convenient.
So I get it from Khan's perspective. They think things exploded. To me, it's like she was like 5 or something. And she
Hmm.
sounds like she's. Let me look. Let me do this like quick math here.
Yeah, she was 5 because she says that she had to forget her whole first 5 years of like being raised by her father.
Right. So 2267 is Space Seed. So it's 2272 when the launch and all that happens because she's 5 years old. It's around that time. Could be 73, but it's around that time. So between the launch and what they give away in the first episode, there's like around a 21, 22 year gap. Okay.
Hmm.
So when they're talking to each other, when Tuvok and Sulu and Lear are talking to each other, it's a little over 20 years later. And
Mm.
then 13 years after the launch, around 12, 13 years after the launch is Wrath of Khan. So the launch happens, and then 12 to 13 years of him just being on the planet. So,
So she's pretty successful for being in her early 20s, then, is what you're saying?
yeah, well, yeah, she's in her mid 20s, but yeah. But basically, the thing I didn't really quite understand, and I get it. Everybody, if anybody who was listening would be like, well, they think they're dead. But I was just like, in the 12, 13 years, why would you not try in some fashion to have them like go back to SETI Alpha 5 to like collect bodies to like investigate if anybody did survive. Like you would just assume that everybody's dead because you can't contact them via the communications thing. It's like that's a
Yeah.
long time for Madhu to not like check on any of them. And then of course, nicely, Bo on top of it, she just dies for no reason. She's dead. She died my sophomore year in academy. And
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, why in 13 years did this augment just drop dead? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I really didn't understand. It's just because it's such a long time. It's not like it's 6 or 7 months and it's like, well, they were hiding and trying to like change their names, and then the events of Wrath of Khan happened, and it was just like it was too late. It's like, no, there was over a decade of time had passed that they could have investigated SETI Alpha 5.
Yeah.
And then the like 7 or 8 years, well, I guess it's like eight, or I should probably say 8 or 9 years of the events of Wrath of Khan to the where the podcast starts. It's like she didn't try to investigate like anything earlier, like try to talk to Kirk and all that stuff.
No, I know it's kind of stupid.
So basically, the thing that, for whatever reason, that I feel like they were supposed to take away from this is that it's the boring thing that media does a lot, which is like have feelings for the bad guy, see that Marla did change Khan because Tuvok says he became a better man by giving up his spot for Delmonda. And that was like Khan being a better person. Like he always was who he was, like suspicious and violent and like headstrong and very arrogant. But him choosing to have Delmonda take his place showed that he was a better man. And Tuvok also shares that like Khan's descent into madness was like made sense. And it basically we're supposed to just be like, ah, yes. Well, now I understand why he's so wrathful in the movie. And then, I don't know, the next thing that they add, and I think this is where your why question comes in, is Tuvok knows that she's Kali. She's like, now my career's gonna be ruined because you know that. And he's like, I'm not gonna tell anybody because, like, you shouldn't be punished for something that you had no control over. And like what does it matter kind of a thing, and that's
Yeah.
it. So it's like literally the purpose of this was, I guess we sort of understand more so why Khan
Yeah.
wants to kill Kirk. Like we have like a
It's
12% more understanding.
it's Ray Palpatine saying it doesn't matter where you come from, and then she says that she's Ray Skywalker. It's the same thing, different
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, so you like thinking Kirk is the bad guy and Khan is the good guy is weird. Like it's
Yes.
weird. But if people knew that like you're Khan's daughter, then now it's like, okay, you're advocating for your father. Like
Right.
that's a worthy cause. Like, yeah.
Right.
But no, we can't do that. We can't have people, we can't have people
Puppets.
doing that. That's crazy stuff, you know? Now, she says a couple things too that are like, again, are like, I don't get it. It's like she's like, I don't understand like why my father would have tried to kill Kirk. And like she was all confused by like the whole movie. And it's like like what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was like all he ever said, even when like things were going good, Marla would be like, "Oh, look at this sunset." And be like, "Yeah, sunset's nice, but if I ever see Kirk, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him for putting us here." I was like, "Okay," but, like that's all he ever talked about. So it's like it's not really that big of a surprise
Right.
that like your dad did this. You thought he was dead. He thought you were dead. It's a whole thing. It's just like, okay. But yeah, for it to end on like, well, I'm going to keep your secret forever and we're not going to talk about this. Like, it's not
Right.
even, it basically saying like, hey, wasn't this a fun side story that we'll never reference ever again moving forward? Because everything forward has already been done.
Right, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. I was talking briefly to Adri about it last night. Like, whatever her name is, Dr. Lear slash Kali Noonien Singh. Like
Yeah.
that's not a thing. That's not. We're never ever gonna like come up with that kind of stuff. Like small con stuff comes up, but it's like it's
Yeah.
largely done and over with.
Yeah. And that's kind
And
of why this is like an audio drama. So it can be like one and done. And I get that.
And that's totally fine. Like, I'm happy for the story because, like, again, once I plan on rewatching Wrath of Khan and then like listening and looking at Khan and the people with him specifically, and thinking about
Oh,
the
yeah.
things that the story like presents, and just like trying to view it from the lens of the series. I do look forward to that. And to me, if it makes Wrath of Khan a better movie in any way, then great because I'm not upset with new Star Trek making old Star Trek look better. That's awesome, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what's the point. And if they're making like Star Trek Con season 2, and now we're gonna follow the adventures of Kali Noonien Singh while she does stuff, then
Yeah.
okay, whatever. Then that's what we're doing, right? Great. But it's like if this is the last thing that they ever do with the story, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Tuvok has a secret that he doesn't tell anybody. Nice.
I can't wait until we start covering the series that Tuvok is from.
A Voyager,
And
yeah.
yeah, and then every time we do stuff, I'm just gonna be like, "Can you believe he's still holding that secret?"
Yeah. There was a really funny
There's a Khan Noonien Singh person walking around out there, and he knows about it.
Yep. There was a comment in the YouTube thing underneath where they made a comment about him and about that secret, and they made a comment, and I was like, I get it was kind of, I think it was like, I don't know if it was a joke of the series or just like a haha like of the situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, so I wasn't let down in the fact that like it was a bad series and the storytelling was poorly written.
Yeah. It doesn't make me hate it for sure. It just
Right.
but it definitely did kind of what I pictured it was gonna do. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I think the last episode you and I were like, okay, so she's definitely like the daughter. Got it.
Right.
Which is fine. But it's like, yeah, it just doesn't do anything extra for the story other than just kind of showing us like what Khan went through on the planet, which I like.
Yeah, which was good.
But
And I
again,
think-
it's like you gave him a daughter. You gave him that stuff that you had to figure out how to
Right.
write. And it's
Right.
like you didn't need to do you didn't need to do it. You wrote yourself into like
No.
two corners and
No.
you gave us this pretty little bow on the end, which is, classic Star Trek. So good on you for writing
Right.
classic Star Trek.
Well, for whatever reason, the thing that they had in their mind, like, well, this is what the story's got to be. It's like they have to have somebody investigate the events of Khan. okay? But they can't have
Mhm.
Kirk be alive. So Kirk has to be dead. So Kirk's dead. It's like, okay, so we're
Yeah.
not going to talk to Kirk. We don't, right? Because Shatner doesn't want to be a part of it, probably. Maybe that was a
Yeah.
problem. They were
Yeah.
like, hey, do this thing. And he was like, no, thank you. So now they have to explain that you can't just talk to Kirk. You can't put Kirk on trial for the events of Khan, which would have made a way better, makes us, Star Trek Khan, and they keep cutting back to Kirk being on trial after the events of Wrath of Khan.
The fact of the matter is that Starfleet would never put Kirk on trial
Also,
for any
also
of the
that.
Khan stuff because they don't care.
Right,
They're
true.
happy.
Right.
They would be the ones that wanted to blow the planet up.
Right, and also a lot of it too would have been redacted because the Genesis project couldn't be openly discussed in a public forum.
Yeah.
But okay, so you have to put it there, and it's like, well, why would anybody, 12, 13 years later, or whatever it was, I don't know, whatever it was, 8 years later, want to investigate the events of Wrath of Khan? It's like, well, the only reason that would happen is if it was Khan's daughter. She would
Somebody
want
related to him. Yeah.
they would have the strongest passion to do that. And you're like, okay, because nobody else, there's no possible way that anybody else would ever investigate something, right? They would never do that unless they had
No.
skin in the game. So they're like, well, it has to be the daughter. It's like, well, how do we get the daughter off the planet but not Khan? It's like, okay, aliens have to then crash on the planet who are super passive and
Yeah.
super loving and just can't.
Yeah.
They just are so excited to help Khan's people live. They'll
And
build,
they can only build a ship big enough for 4 people.
and only four people can go because, that's just how it works. But they work in some sort of group thought pattern so that even if any of the aliens leave, well, they just die because they're not around their people. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
they got super tired
okay.
from being disconnected from the hive.
Right. And it's
Just
like, well, why
died.
aren't any of these really OP peaceful aliens alive when when Chekhov and the other captain there
Mhm.
show up? It's like, well, they all decided that they had to be right next to the ship as it launched
Yeah.
in order to protect it,
After
which
everybody fled and Ivan was being killed, they're like, well, we still got to stand here like a wall
will
because
just
anything can happen to
burn
the ship that
alive.
can only be opened from the inside.
And it's like, okay, it's like to me, and I get it. I get it. Because if you and I were to sit down prior to the show and be like, okay, what's the story? You and I would do what the story would be is Marla would have a hard time integrating. She would eventually integrate. You might give them a kid, maybe, but eventually you would have to make Khan change, right? He would have to become a changed person so that the death of Marla is brutal to him, because that was a point in Wrath of Khan. He was upset about his wife being killed.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, and that's the story. She gets killed and he goes insane. Got it. And obviously there's, more meat has to be put on the bone for that to be interesting, but that by and far is that's the story. That's all you really have from Space Seed and Wrath of Khan is she leaves, she's dead, he's angry. There's not a lot of context there.
Yeah.
And for them to just add all the alien crashing, him having a daughter, the daughter surviving, the aliens getting killed, and then it's apparently because the Elborians are a warring people, which is why this faction of them left. It's nobody ever comes looking for
No,
for the
no.
ship or anything like that, and it's just okay,
Well, and I think to me too, the hardest thing for me to let go is that his hatred for Kirk, I think is just such it's a hard believability thing. And I like the theory of them eating ceti eels and their brains are being rotten from the inside. That's fine.
that helps, right?
But
Yeah,
this show didn't tell me that. So I don't believe, so
right,
what I do have to go on is that he's mad at Kirk because this planet explodes and now their planet is doomed. But come to find out, the Alborians are the ones that blew up the planet.
right,
But he still wants to kill Kirk for putting him on this planet.
right.
And then it's like, what are you
But
talking? It's like
you're right,
Kirk and the Enterprise put you on this planet. They saved all of your people and put all of you here on this planet and said, you want to be free, you can be free. Starfleet will never come to this planet. We'll have
Right.
nothing to do with you. We won't govern you. You're on your own from
Right.
now until you die.
And here's all these supplies and ways to like live
Here's
and
everything we have. Marlo's coming with you.
right.
Everything we do, you want to be left alone, you're going to be left alone.
Right.
That's it. End of discussion.
Right.
And then
Right.
it's like, but everything that goes wrong is Kirk's fault. And it's like, dude, it's such a
Yeah.
one note. It's just such a one note character because it has to lead to Wrath of Khan.
Right.
And it's like,
And
okay, yeah,
don't you think it would have been way more believable or interesting that okay, everything's happening. They learn about the set of eels. Like, okay, yep, we get it. We get it. They have some hardships. Animals kill some people. The eels kill some people. Okay, like right, yep. Some bad stuff's happening on the planet. You know, he's a little angry at Kirk for depositing him on a planet that like is killing his people and like they didn't do any like he
Yeah.
feels like they didn't scan the planet well and they're now we're getting assaulted by all these things. Okay, well fair, that's a fair enough.
yeah.
Okay.
There's animals on a planet, so that's a given.
Right. And maybe even Marla's like, yeah, I don't like even she can't really explain like why they didn't pick a better planet that didn't have all of these like weird animal life on it. Okay, great. So there's some contention, but it's nothing crazy. He just is like he's angry at Kirk. Flash forward, Delmonda doesn't want to die. He doesn't want his people to get killed, so he uses the whatever the engine in his ship, which destroys SETI Alpha 6. They crash on the planet. Time goes by. Khan learns about that. Khan is now going to do what he ends up doing to Kirk. Like he becomes single-minded, super focused on only killing Delmonda. He doesn't care about anything else because Delmonda is the reason for the planet turning, like paradise being destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all he's doing. He's only coming to attack Delmonda. Doesn't matter what Delmonda says, just like Kirk. Kirk's like, hey, let's be nice. Let's not do this thing. And he's like, nope, I don't care what you have to say. I'm killing you. And then Delmonda, because he can read Khan's mind, is like, I see in his mind that he has some like mild hatred, or like he's angry at this individual called Kirk. I don't know who that is, but I'll manipulate his mind for him to like take all that rage, like basically mind control him. All that rage he has centered on me for destroying the planet, and I'll make it go on Kirk.
Yeah, I
And
like
then-
that.
And then we'll work together to get, like to get off the planet. Like he's still a peaceful person. He just doesn't want to die, and he manipulates Khan's mind. And Khan just from that point forward, like everybody doesn't really understand it, and he just ends up hating Kirk. Like every time his followers are like, well, shouldn't we be killing the Alborians? Shouldn't we be killing Delmonda? Or whatever. It's like, no, Kirk must die. Kirk is the one who did this to us. And he's like rallying his people around it. And Marla keeps trying to like, keep him from going down that path, but then she eventually dies, and then now nobody is stopping him from thinking that Kirk should be killed.
Yeah. No, I like that.
To me, that just would make way more sense because
Yeah, because he basically he pardons Delmondo at the end. He's like,
Right.
you and me are friends. Like whatever happened between us is great now, and it's like
right,
it's his fault.
it's his fault.
Yeah, but I hate Kirk though because he put us here. So it's like okay, all right,
Whatever.
yeah. So that was it.
Yeah, it was.
That's all I got
it's-
to say.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not a great ending. I don't know what it does for the Star Trek franchise, and I don't overly understand what the purpose of Star Trek Con was all about. Like, I don't really know why this had to be a series. They don't
Yeah.
speak to anything that we're going to end up watching on our other review thing, the Retrek review, where we cover Star Trek episodes. I don't know where that's going to come in.
I view this as like Rogue One. It's a Star Trek
Yeah.
story. It's fun for what it is, honestly. I mean, the voice acting is great. I really enjoyed a lot of it. The visuals. I hope they do more of this. I
That
don't know.
right.
We've seen the numbers on this, and like you said, it falls drastically towards the end, which it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, honestly. So
Yeah,
it did kind of what I thought it was going to do, and that's kind of what I've come to expect. Is that like, we need to wrap this up.
Right.
How do we wrap this up? And it's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, my hope is that, like you said, with Rogue One, I also felt like this was a Rogue One situation. I actually made that comment last night. Is that Wrath of Khan is the bread and butter of Star Trek?
Yeah.
That's what the whole franchise like hinges the whole fandom on, because apparently nothing else is good in Star Trek. It's only Wrath of Khan, and
Yeah, which is mind blowing to me.
yeah, so how do we make, new content for everybody to want to watch it? It's like, well,
Khan.
make a lead up thing that leads to the thing that everybody likes, right?
Yeah.
Rogue One is immediate leads into New Hope, and it's like, how do we
They're
make New
like,
Hope
hey,
better? Right.
what villain has been in the most episodes and that people really enjoy? And they're like, oh, Mud. And they're like, no,
Khan.
we're doing Khan.
So the thing that I hope is that this was just a show for producers and production companies and staff to turn to shareholders or other individuals with money and power and
Yeah.
say, hey, look, this audio series that we put out for Khan, which is arguably our most popular thing, did relatively well. So will you fund us doing season 5 of Star Trek Enterprise? Will you fund us doing another Star Trek project using old legacy cast characters? Like, basically, do more stuff with people that before they die, before they retire, before we run out
Yes.
of the time. So that's my hope. If this series leads to any other project that ends up being a continuation of something or brings back legacy Star Trek people to do more content, and even if it's more audio content, I'm happy
Yeah.
for it. I was ecstatic. It was literally the only reason I had us listen to this was because Tim Russ as Tuvok and George Takei as Sulu returned. And
Yeah.
me, I'm just happy to hear them have more content and do more things.
Yeah. It was super cool.
So if that's what this does, then I will be forever grateful for Star Trek Con. If it does
Uh,
nothing, it's a nothing burger, and maybe it makes Wrath of Khan a little bit better.
Maybe. Yeah. I think that's why I was bummed out we don't get a final thing from Sulu in the last episode. It
No,
was
true.
like,
Yeah, it ended with some reading of a poem called Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
yeah,
It was like, okay, got it.
cool.
So
And I will hunt Kirk to the end of the earth.
he will die.
He will be dead on my blade. Yeah, it's
Well,
like every time we got this hear Sulu, he was like, "Hey, I really would like to leave this system."
like, why are we? I feel like Sulu just ended up turning into us, right? Like, why are we still
Why
here
are we
listening?
here? Why do we have to be here for you to listen to stuff in your room? I don't understand what we're doing.
Like, no, I served Woodkirk. Like, he's not a bad guy. Like, can we just
Yeah.
leave? Like,
Tuvok, can you just listen to those audio tapes and just tell me, like, wrap it up so we can get out of here? Because I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing down there.
well, that was our discussion of Star Trek Con Episode 9. This is obviously, for now that we're aware of, this is the series finale. Give it a listen yourself. There's only 9 episodes. They're typically like 35 to 40 minutes long. If you like podcast type stuff, it's the audio quality, the voice acting, all that stuff is really great, super fun. A new medium for Star Trek fans, just another way to consume Star Trek material, which is super fun. So let us know in the comment section how you feel about this episode, how you feel about the entire franchise. Do all the fun, excellent things down below. Like it, subscribe, share it, do all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys watching, listening. Caleb and I look forward to getting back into our normal Star Trek content. And yeah, this will be probably the last new Trek Who Dis until
Dis.
season 4 of Strange New Worlds.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on that next one.
Because you never know what you're going to learn when you
Yeah.
watch Star Trek.
Go!